It's time! And now, introducing your host, fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, by way of Boston, Massachusetts, presenting live,
the Bostonian versus the Book. Follow the show on Twitter at Boston versus the Book.
Here he is, Matt Perrault!
Enjoy the show, enjoy the show, enjoy the show, enjoy the show.
What's up, Brigade? How are you? Welcome into a Thursday's episode of the Bostonian versus the Book, being presented by BetCris Arizona. Our guy, Adam Bjorn, will join us today on a Thursday. We'll get into everything happening around the sports world, including a final recap of the book side of things for the Super Bowl, prop bets, and everything else that went with that football game from Sunday. And then we'll look ahead. We got hockey on the ice at the moment. The Olympics are underway for the men's hockey tournament, which really is sort of like if you're asking people like what their number one thing is on a list of things they want to watch, at least from our perspective, it would be the Olympic hockey tournament with the NHL players representing their home countries. At last check, Team Canada was up 5-0 today on the Czech Republic. The Team USA guys get going here in a couple of hours. They will take on Latvia today. So we'll get to that. Look ahead to the Daytona 500 this weekend and talk a bit about the NBA All-Star Weekend. How much handle does BetCris Arizona see from an NBA perspective? Suns have been pretty good this year. So Suns backers might be more inclined to be wagering on a thing or two when it comes to what's going to happen for the All-Star game. We will get to Max Crosby's reasoning as to why he might be looking to leave Las Vegas. And it's an old story. It's a story that I've been covering for quite a while. And that is the weirdness of Alex Guerrero. If you don't know who Alex Guerrero is Tom Brady's personal life coach, trainer. We don't know what exactly these two guys are to each other. We just know that Alex Guerrero has caused problems for those in Tom Brady's orbit for decades now. I mean, I'm talking back to like 2014 that Alex Guerrero was in a conversation around Brady, around the TB12 method. They turned it into a kind of a couch business in New England that has since failed. Tom has pivoted to go into cards and other things now. But the reasoning for Max Crosby being shut down at the end of last year was Alex Guerrero, who is now with the Raiders as their, quote, wellness coach. And Crosby was so angry about the whole situation that Crosby doesn't want to be a Raider anymore because Brady's involved and Brady brings Alex Guerrero with him. So that's a problem. Okay. Like straight up, that's a problem for the Raiders and a problem for Tom Brady. Once again, it's sort of an old problem that we've seen before. So we'll do that after we talk to Adam Bjorn, but I've got to get something off my chest before we talk to Adam, because it has hit a fever pitch. It has hit my breaking point. And I know I have to be careful with this because the program is called The Bostonian versus the Book. So I do understand the level of homerism I'm going to be accused of. But the Patriot hate has got to stop. It is ridiculous right now. Opening line for us here on a Thursday. It is Thursday following the Super Bowl. And I get it. When a team gets de-pantsed and embarrassed in a Super Bowl, you want to run around and talk about the fact that the Patriots did not belong, right? That's been the refrain over and over again. The Patriots went into that game against Seattle and they had no business being in the game. I'm willing to take all of that heat. I'm willing to accept it. I'm willing to embrace it and even in some ways confirm it and be like, look, they got outperformed on a bunch of different levels. If you go and look at the NFL films, different clips that are coming out, you're hearing mic'd up players for the Seahawks call out the Patriot plays, call out that Drake May is telegraphing where he is going to throw the football and saying he's a young quarterback with traditional young quarterback traits. Like, they played the game before against Matthew Stafford, who is a 37-year-old Hall of Fame quarterback who has forgotten more about the position in pro football than Drake May has learned yet. Drake May is 23 years of age. Drake May has a lot of learning to do in the NFL. And the Patriots were playing with a roster full of talent that really wasn't elite. There was no Puka Nacua. There was no Devontae Adams. There was nobody out there running routes that's going to be one day wearing a jacket in Canton, Ohio. Like, I love Mac Hollis, but come on. He's bounced around from team to team for a reason. You know, Hunter Henry? I mean, come on. What are we talking about here? The Patriots offense, we knew that they were going into that game with limitations when they played the elite of the elite. The reason why they won the AFC championship game or championship period was because of what their defense did. How they made CJ Stroud look like, you know, a quarterback from FCS. How they dominated Justin Herbert and held the Chargers offense to 3 points. Like, that's why the Patriots were in the Super Bowl. It was not due to their offense. And it is incredible to me what is going on right now with the Patriot hate. It has hit a bonkers level. And now it's not about the Super Bowl for the Patriots. It's about next year. And there is this refrain going on right now that I find to be absolutely hysterical. Everyone is saying the Patriots are not making the playoffs next year. Easy fade. Patriots will not make the postseason. Pete Prisco, this team is a testament to the coach because they aren't that good. Do they have problems going forward? No question about it. Do they have problems going forward? Everything in life is relative, right? Like, if you're living on the street and somebody gives you a 500 square foot, 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom apartment to live in, you think you've hit pay dirt, right? If you're living in a 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom apartment and somebody gives you a 3 bedroom house, you think you've hit pay dirt. You think you're ecstatic. You think that you're living the life, right? If somebody takes you from a 3 bedroom house and gives you a 3 floor, 28 room, 8 bathroom mansion, you think you've hit the lottery. It's all about relativity. It's all about where your perspective is. So, do the Patriots have problems? Well, everyone has problems, right? I mean, like, show me a supermodel and I'll show you the guy who's tired of her, right? Like, there's that whole thing that goes into what are your problems? Do the Patriots have problems? Yeah, but every team has problems. Every team has issues. That's not new to the Patriots. This roster had 11 rookies. 11 rookies. They had 42 of their 90-man roster that were not on the team in 24, that had joined the team in 25. They had nearly a 50% new roster, 30 players on the 52-man roster. This is a team that did something that has never been done before. You heard Mike Tirico talk about it during the broadcast. The Patriots turned their roster over so fast. Nobody saw this coming. Nobody thought it was possible to get rookies, second-year players, a second-year quarterback, a left side of your offensive line being rookies, and make it to the biggest game of the year. Were the Patriots outmatched? Absolutely. But does one game's performance and one game's embarrassment mean we're going to write the franchise off for the next 2, 3, 4 years? Easy fade. They're playing a first-place schedule. Matt, don't you know that? They're playing a first-place schedule. You can call the run for the Patriots fluky. You can call the run for the Patriots that they were not deserving to be in the game. And I'll give you all of that. But to question the Patriots as a franchise And to say this team is not going to be anywhere near the playoffs next year, that it's an easy fade to bet the Patriots to miss the postseason next year, is an overreaction and overcorrection, just like moving Will Campbell to guard. And I overreacted too, looking at the people that actually know what they're talking about when it comes to the position, saying he played a really bad game. But the one game doesn't mean that Will Campbell's career is over. And the one game doesn't mean that Will Campbell can't develop into a very good left tackle. Maybe not elite, maybe not Hall of Famer, but you don't need him to be elite. You don't need him to be a Hall of Famer. You need him to be good. That's it. Just be a good left tackle. And if you have a good left tackle, justify the position, justify the drafting him in the top 5. That's all you need. You need like a 10-year career out of the kid playing left tackle. And if he can do that, that delivers on the roster. That delivers on the choice. But this franchise has gone to 12 Super Bowls. And the questioning going on right now about the future of the Patriots is unreal. Like, it is insane. The same groupthink that people got drunk on heading into the Super Bowl is now getting them intoxicated about this idea that the Patriots don't know how to play football, that Mike Vrabel is not coming back, that Drake May is not coming back, that Josh McDaniels is not coming back, that this team is not going to add talent, both in free agency and in the draft, that this team is not going to go out and maybe acquire other key players. Like, if Max Crosby becomes a Patriot, and we'll talk about that story more later in the show, but if Max Crosby goes to New England and plays for the Patriots defense, are we talking about them differently? Are people going to backtrack all of the conversations and all the comments that have been said publicly about how this roster shouldn't be, can't be, and won't be in the postseason? Is everyone going to go and completely backtrack because of what's going on? Drake May got beat up in the Super Bowl, got beat up in the postseason. And yes, the Patriots are going to have a more difficult schedule next year. And that's what everyone is talking about. That because they had such an easy schedule and they got to the game and they got worked by Seattle, that means that they're going to fall on their face next year because they have a first place schedule. Okay, let's look at the schedule. Like, let's legitimately look at the Patriots schedule and see what they're going to wind up doing. This take I agree with up to this point. The Patriots are probably going to be favored in 15 of their 17 games next year. A third of their games are going to be against new head coaches. A third of their game against new head coaches. Why are we so in love with the Bills and Joe Brady? Why do we think that it's just going to be fine? We don't know what Patrick Mahomes' knee is going to look like. We have no clue what Mahomes will be. The Miami Dolphins and the Jets are still the Miami Dolphins and the Jets. The Steelers, what are the Steelers going to be next year? What are the Raiders going to be next year? Like, honestly, are you afraid of the Raiders? Are you afraid of the Steelers? No. If you beat the Jets and the Dolphins 2 times, they're 6 wins right there. Now you got road games in tough games, but you can beat the Jaguars. You can beat the Lions. You can beat the Bears. You can even beat the Chiefs, even with Mahomes. You can beat the Chiefs. Like, is this team going to win 14 games next year? No. Is the team going to be the number 1 seed next year? I'd be very surprised. Be very, very surprised. But can the Patriots win the AFC East next year? 100% the answer is yes. If you don't think so, you're just a hater. Like, you're just straight up piling on and hating on the franchise for whatever reason. I don't really know why, but it seems to be like an insane take that the Patriots are just going to fall flat on their face and they're not going to be good. Did you guys see this? Did you see this video that came out with Mike Vrabel after the game? The way that Mike Vrabel greeted every single player and said, we have to be pissed off together about what happened. He said 307 days. That's all this was 307 days. We have so much more to go. We have so much more football to go. We are not done. We are going to be pissed off together, and we are not done. Do you know why I believe the Patriots are going to be good next year? It's because Mike Vrabel is their coach. That's why. because Mike Vrabel is coaching the Patriots, I truly believe this team is going to be right back in the playoffs next year. Now, they're not going back to the Super Bowl, okay? They're going to get beat by somebody because they are a young team that has to learn how to win. They got thrust into it faster than they thought, faster than anybody else thought they were going to get there, and they weren't ready. The next time they go back, they'll be ready. The next time they show up, they'll be ready. Why? Because the franchise has a history that nobody else has. Like, we just forget this. And again, this sounds like Homer talk, but the thing on your screen right now, talking about conference championship games played in the last 26 years, there is nobody in the same category. There is nobody in the stratosphere of the Patriots franchise. And that's the hatred. That's the anger, the frustration that so many of these teams, look at Dallas, Houston, Cleveland, Miami, Jacksonville, the Chargers, Detroit, and Washington. Since 2000, I graduated college in 1999. For my entire adult life, those teams have gone to 0 or 1 conference championship game. And the Patriots have gone to 14 conference championship games. That is where this hatred and the unbelievable bias that's being thrown out in the media. Will Campbell is the whipping post of everybody at the moment. Drake May, people are like, he's 23 years old. He's Dan Marino 2.0. We have no idea what this kid's going to look like. We have no idea what his potential is, how good he could be. He played in the Super Bowl. He played against 4 really good defenses, and he got beat up. But do we allow any growth at all? Do we allow any margin for too much, too soon, too fast? And it will do him justice. It will do him a solid. He'll be better because of it. Is that at all possible? That he could be a better player down the road because he faced the Houston Texans and the LA Chargers and the Seattle Seahawks. And he saw what Mike McDaniel did to him. He saw what Mike McDonald's defense did to him. And he saw what the defense for the Texans and how often he got hit and fumbled, that he now knows what it feels like to get hit by Will Anderson and what it feels like when he's being run down by defensive end after defensive end. Are we at all going to give that even the slight possibility? It is solid groupthink to say the Patriots didn't beat up on bad teams and got there because of their schedule, but they whipped the crap out of the teams that they played. If having the easiest schedule meant that you got to the Super Bowl every single year, why do the Jets suck? Why do the Browns suck? Ask yourself that question, because it's a refrain that is boring and tired now to talk about the schedule, to talk about who they faced, and to say the Patriots aren't that good and that next year it'll all be exposed. Because if you play a last place schedule, shouldn't you always have the best record then? If you're not a good team, and you're not capable of winning football games, then why are so many teams tripping over themselves, losing consistently? Why are the Raiders firing coaches every 2 years? If it's so easy, if it's so simple to just get the schedule and go and play, and that's it. Easy, right? Easy. This is simple. Have a last place schedule. You're playing in the Super Bowl, right? That's what you're equating this to. That's the leap that people are making that is making me lose my mind. Consistently make me lose my mind over this. And I have to fight the urge because as a Patriot fan, I know what this sounds like. I got Patriot gear and I got all these different things. We fired Mayo. Dirt McGurk saying you guys fired Mayo after 1 year. Do you know why? Do you see who they hired? Like, do you see who they replaced Gerard Mayo with? If you want to talk about firing somebody quickly, well, then why didn't Josh McDaniels work? Why didn't you keep Rich Bisaccia? Why didn't you keep Pete Carroll? I mean, you can go through all these teams that have had a revolving door. I mean, the Jets can't find a coach to save their life, no matter who it is. Rex Ryan was the last one that was even remotely competitive. And he made one AFC championship game. One. That's it. I mean, it is all so interesting to see how it is. And I agree, SoCal. Great point. If it was that easy, just look at the schedule. Sports books would be bankrupt by now. Absolutely. And I think this groupthink is amazing from a book perspective, because if I'm a sports book, I can't wait to put the Patriot yes, no up to make the postseason, because I'm going to see one-way action on the no. It's just going to be one-way action. Everyone's going to think it's as easy to bet that as the Super Bowl and laying the 4.5. That was an easy bet. Everybody cleaned up. I just don't get how people are completely glossing over the fact that Drake May had some incredible stats this year. And Drake May played behind an offensive line that got exposed by the best defense in football. He played the best defenses in football, and he beat 3 of the 4. He didn't win all 4. He went 3-1, which is really impressive. And the Patriot defense is not going to be worse next year. The Patriot defense, they need to sign Christian Gonzalez to an extension, and I think they will sign Gonzalez to an extension. But everybody else is coming back. Robert Spillane's coming back. Milton Williams is coming back. They're going to add more talent, and if they add Max Crosby, which is rumored that Max Crosby wants to play for Mike Vrabel, and it's hard to say other players are not going to want to play for a coach that looks like this, talks like this, acts like this. I mean, Mike Vrabel is a destination. Forget the Patriot organization. Forget Robert Kraft. Forget the Patriots with 6 championships. Forget the 12 Super Bowls. Forget all that. Mike Vrabel is a destination. He's changing the way NFL players are now going to demand their coaches to treat them. He is embracing the idea of you are a person, you are an individual, and I'm going to ask you to do things for me, but I'm also going to be there with you while we go through this. I mean, this is a first-year head coach with the Patriots, second-time coach in the NFL, who gets asked about Will Campbell, and he could have answered it a million different ways, but instead, he stood there and said, we're not moving Will Campbell. Not to guard, not to center, not to tight end. We're not moving him. It effectively ends the conversation. It ends all the speculation. It ends everybody who is a Pop Warner offensive line coach that wants to talk about setting his feet and having a counter punch and all the other crap we've heard for the last 4 days about why Will Campbell did not perform well in the Super Bowl. The only guys I want to hear talking about Will Campbell's technique are guys like Chris Long. Like, give me the players, give me the guys who played the position. Give me the guys, Max Crosby, right, who was asked about it yesterday on his own podcast. Like, give me guys who play either against the position or the position. Anybody else, I don't need to hear it, okay? Like, I just don't need to hear it. We're all talking out of our ass. We're all being armchair quarterbacks and armchair offensive line coach. If the Patriots believe he can be a legitimate left tackle, let them go and see it. Let them go and play with it and coach the kid up. Get him in the weight room. Get him stronger. Get him bigger. Get him faster. But he's a football player. Will Campbell's a football player. He wants to play football. There's a lot of guys that get paychecks to play in the NFL who don't care if the team wins or loses. Will Campbell was crying after the game. He was so hurt and so mad and so disappointed about the way he performed. I want more kids like that. Give me more guys like that that care in his first year in the NFL. You can say, well, he's young. Once he gets to be a grizzled veteran, he's 22 years old. Drake May is 23 years old. I'm sorry. This idea that the Patriots are not going to be a problem next year for teams in the AFC is just unless Drake May's shoulder is really banged up and he needs surgery, that would change my take on this, okay? If Drake May is not healthy next year and Drake May has to have labrum repair surgery, I will retract a lot of this, okay? Because your quarterback is the most important position. But if Drake May's healthy and the Patriots are coming back with that defense, they're going to be in every game they play. Can they win 10 games? You better believe they can win 10 games. Can they win 11? Can they win 12? Yes. Can they go 12-5? Yes. 100%. So don't sleep. Don't run to bed. Don't be like all these people who are just running their mouths about where this team is going forward. Because I would take the Patriots position, and realistically, 31 other franchises would equally take the same position of being in the Super Bowl and having a chance to win. If you lose by 1 or by 100, it doesn't matter. Is there a hangover the next year for a Super Bowl loser? Without a doubt. Are the Patriots back in the Super Bowl? No. No, I will concur. The Patriots will get beat by somebody next year in the postseason. I do believe that. Unless they get an incredibly lucky run. But I don't expect them back in Los Angeles next year for the Super Bowl. But we're thinking they're not even making the tournament, that the Patriots aren't going to be one of the best teams in the AFC? Really? I think it's wishful thinking. I really do. Just because you want it to be true doesn't mean it is going to be true. I know it's hard to handle. I know people don't like it. I know it bothers them. I get the hatred. I get that you're sick to death of everything happening with the Patriots. I do. It's easy, right? It's fun. It's fun because no one likes that stat. That stat is trouble. 14 conference championships of the last 26. 14 of those games involved the Patriots. Nobody with 13. Nobody with 12. Nobody with 11. Nobody with 10. And nobody with 9. Just be careful. That's all I got to say. Just be careful with all this hot take, hot air nonsense. We have found our guy. He has jumped in. I don't know where he is. I think he's in Costa Rica, but where in the world is Adam Bjorn? How are you, my friend? Where are you? Oh, I was right. He's in Costa Rica. What's up? Welcome back. Appreciate your time. I know you're crazy busy.
Yeah, I'm currently doing board meetings, and I managed to just finish my presentation, answer the questions I needed, and get out in time. But yeah, back in Costa Rica. I left you. I don't know what day. I ended up driving past Pebble Beach, down to LA. Met with Apple in LA. Flew back to Costa Rica, and here I am today.
Okay, so let's talk about your experience in San Francisco. Did it live up to what you hoped it would be? Did you enjoy it? How did you take this show in retrospect? How did the whole couple of days in being a quote media member? How did that go for you?
Way beyond expectations. Bloody awesome experience. I mean, the people we got to interview, even Dicker the kicker is.
Uh-oh. Did you freeze? Dicker got upset. Hold on. Let's see if we can get Adam back. Normally that clicks over. Normally that's on when he freezes on his end. Normally it's a quick one, but this is more of a lengthy pause on the freeze. Okay, so he just snapped out. He'll pop back in here in just 1 second. I don't know if he had a crash or not, but yes. But what he was saying, I'll say it for Adam. Cameron Dicker's people contacted me, and then I contacted Adam to say, hey, here's Cameron Dicker, the kicker for the Chargers. Here's his phone number. He wants to get involved with what you're doing with Costa Rica. So that was kind of an unforeseen, pretty cool deal that we got from after the interview of talking to Cameron, because he was so impressed with what Adam was talking about what he was doing for Costa Rica. He was looking for a way of getting involved. And then he got involved in this. So like, I don't know. We'll get an update from Adam, hopefully here in just 1 second, as to what the status is from that conversation. But we were able to go ahead and grab a hold of some stuff here with Cameron Dicker. Ooh, he was here and then he was gone. This is interesting. I'm just about to put him back on the screen and then he crashed again. So I wonder if there's, oh, here he's back. I think. Yes. Are we good?
Yes, I'm good now.
I know it's a crazy day for you. Thank you. I won't keep you long. Thank you for being here. You were saying though that Cameron Dicker's people I know they reached out to me. Did you get in contact with them?
Yes, yeah. After that, I guess we hit it off, and they reached out talking about the Jamaican project. So yeah, I reached out the next day. They said, yeah, once they get out of the Super Bowl madness, we'll link up and whatnot. But I mean, I was glad to have sort of done a little research on him and see, born in Hong Kong and all that, made it interesting. And then, as I said that day, it got me into a rabbit hole of Darren Bennett and stuff like that. And I remember like mid-90s, early 90s, like going to Melbourne, and there's a river that runs through Melbourne called the Yarra River, and actually trialed as a punter. We were like kicking balls across the Yarra River because, I mean, I could kick a ball 50, 60 yards playing Aussie rules back in the day. And it was kind of a big thing when Darren was in the NFL, and then a few other guys, and then Ben Graham's another one that played for my team in Australia that ended up doing some years in the NFL as well. So yeah, that was that. And Chris Myers, I mean, hearing that voice, that was real interesting and whatnot as well. But yeah, way beyond expectations. Can't wait to do it again. Hope I don't have to wait another 12 months. But yeah, a lot of fun. I can see why you enjoy those kind of things.
It's fast paced. It's a lot of work, but it is a lot of fun. You compare kicking a football to an Aussie rules ball. Is it similar?
Yeah, it's the same shape. It's the same oval shape. And I actually ran across a couple of Sherrons, which is the name of the brand of the football, which is made out of kangaroo leather. Yeah. And the smell of it's just, it's a smell you can never forget as a kid getting one Christmas morning. But yeah, similar size. And we have a thing we call a torpedo punt. So I know in NFL, some of the kickers have done a drop punt where they get it to spin backwards, which is our natural way to kick it. But we can sort of turn it on the side and, spiral it sort of 60, 70 yards with an Aussie rules ball, which then just converts to an NFL ball.
Now, an Aussie rule ball is fatter, right? There's more surface area than a football. Is that fair?
It is a little broader, I think, and the ends are a little rounder. A rugby ball is definitely, again, broader and rounder than an Aussie rules ball. Aussie rules is more to the NFL ball than what a rugby ball is.
Okay. I'm not sure I've ever held an Aussie rules ball then. I've only seen a rugby ball. So an Aussie rules ball is a different shape than a rugby ball.
It's closer to an NFL ball, narrow wise and surface size wise.
Okay. And so you were kicking that thing 50, 60 yards. How far can you kick a football?
Well, and I'm saying 50, 60 yards. That's meters. So I guess that's 60, 70 yards.
Kind of thing. Yeah. But, whoa.
Yeah. Back in the day, I could kick an NFL ball over 50 yards, closer to 60, I think, at the time. I haven't kicked one in a long time, but I'd probably do a hammy or something like that.
Did you go into the wrong profession, Adam? Should you have gone into kicking is the question.
Well, I tell you what. I mean, I don't know if there's any universities or colleges there. I presume I still have eligibility. I don't know what I could do, but I think I could, some Div 3, 4 team or something, go on their punting roster. I don't know. 50-year-old, I mean.
Not bad. All right. So here in Vegas, the overall handle in Vegas was at a 10-year low, but the hold was at one of the highest holds in recent memory here in Vegas. For you guys at BetCris, what was the overall handle result for you with the Super Bowl? I know Seattle winning wasn't a great thing, but overall, with so many prop bets going under, how did you guys do?
So for us, it was almost a perfect game. The only thing that would have made it perfect was another touchdown or another score to go over.
We got that. Seattle, we got one, but they pulled it back on us. The over should have hit.
Seattle and the over was the best result. But yeah, a lot of the props went well. I thought the handle was really strong early on in the week and came in hard and fast game day and the Saturday before. But yeah, definitely had a good result with it falling that way. As I said early in the week, it was running into a day to play Seattle. Got a bunch of money on Seattle Friday, which kind of negated it Saturday morning. And then when I woke up Sunday and look at the charts, there was just so much money on New England from the recreational sort of that last 24 hours that it was clearly the biggest day to play that I'd posted all year long.
For Seattle?
For Seattle, yeah.
Wow, look at that. I was concerned just looking at that game going in on Sunday. I woke up and I was just like, my daughter was like, the Pats are going to win. And I was like, I don't know. Like, it was just like we all on our side, on the New England side, we all sort of like woke up with a feeling of dread going, it doesn't feel like this team's going to be able to match up all that well. But was there anything in terms of like, you know, the over obviously would have been better, the under coming in, but were you surprised at all by anything with what happened in the betting for the game?
I was surprised. I thought when it came back towards Seattle Friday that was it. It was going to move Seattle. I was totally stunned that when I looked at the chart Sunday morning that, you know, last 24 hours, there was so much money on New England. And then I had a few big players that ended up coming on the New England side and then followed up again, New England second half. But, you know, the total was fairly well balanced. It just ended up that, you know, over would have just sort of helped a bunch of my stuff, but also a bunch of the house stuff as well.
Yeah, I had both sides with the future, but I ended up slightly down for the game overall because of the total. If it had gone over, it would have been a winning Super Bowl for me on that. So, all right. So when do you guys, I don't know, on Monday I was looking for it, but you guys hadn't put it up yet. If you haven't put up the futures yet for next year, when do you think you will do so? And how quickly do you start seeing bets for 26, 27 come in?
They'll come in straight away. Yeah, still nothing up. I'd asked the traders. They said they were having a look at it. There's not a hurry on it for anyone, but I saw a couple of markets. It didn't look like there was anyone under 10-1, or it was sort of pretty much.
There are some, but really 20-1. There's no, like, some of the numbers that got put up early by you would call them like the rec books were interesting because like we saw for the AFC. Immediate respect for Baltimore and for Buffalo. And with first year head coaches, I don't understand how in the world you could price them as the odds on favorite to win the AFC when we don't know what the coaches are going to look like. Like, we have no idea. So that was surprising. The Broncos are at 20-1 at certain books, which seems to be woefully too high. Given what they're bringing back and Sean Payton and a healthy Bo Nix. So that was somewhat surprising. And the Patriot price pissed everybody off because they're about 14, 15-1. And people think the Patriots should be 50-1 because there's no way they're ever getting back to the Super Bowl, according to the haters. So,
so I will say, based on those odds, my first bet for next season, and I know you won't like this one, but probably for New England not to make the playoffs. I think that's
I just did a 20-minute rant on why that's wrong. So I'm glad that you are on the same path as everybody else that won't admit, because we'll do this summer. We'll do this. We'll go through the Patriots schedule, and I'll say this right now: in 15 of the 17 games, the Patriots are either going to be even or favored in the games that they're going to play.
So that's fair, and I will say that I didn't look at the schedule, but as you said that, I'm thinking, okay, who's in there? Okay, Jets, okay, Miami, okay, Buffalo, not as, because when I'm looking at it, I'm just looking for potentially what shortened up so much that is looking for value to sort of go in a contrarian way. For me, coming out of that Super Bowl, and I sent you the message, I think, was they have a really good young quarterback now that's gone to pretty much the ultimate journey, except one step short. Now he's going to be stronger going into next year. So it's not a winning bet, but I think it's probably the one where there's some value popping up. Now, going into the schedule, when you look at it from that perspective, 100%, that sort of changes the conversation. And I wonder how many people are just quickly reacting that that's the play. Looking at who's shortened up and who's 14-1 and should be 50s. I'm going to bet them not to make the playoffs. But there's a lot more depth to it than that, ultimately.
I think it's a lot of groupthink, like I was talking about going into the game, but I think there's a lot of groupthink coming out of the game as well with the Patriots and not really processing. They've got 4 games against Miami and against the Jets. They've got home games that they should be able to win. Yes. Are they going to be back in the Super Bowl? No. You want to give me a yes-no market on the Patriots to win the championship or to even win the AFC? Sure. I'd bet the no on that. I think that's a good play. But to not be in the tournament, I think is a little bit of an overreaction given who their coach is, their quarterback, and the core they're bringing back. They're young and they're facing a lot of first-year head coaches that we'll see what they look like going forward. So it's just automatic. Patriots are going to be bad next year. Well, okay, the AFC as a whole, if they win 10 games, they're in the conversation.
Yeah, and I don't think they're going to be bad. I think they're still going to be in the conversation of making it based on what I imagine the bookmakers will do with it. That's where there's possibility that there's some value into it, leaning to the 9-game win not making it versus the 10-game win on the bubble versus 11 getting in. Again, that's kind of the balance of looking at all of those things.
Yeah, and I'll be curious what the price is going to be and who's going to hang it first. And I think you're going to see a lot of people bet the no, and I think the contrarian play will ultimately wind up being the yes. I think yes to make the playoffs will end up being the other side of the public.
And that's it. You know, people overreact and you hear all this stuff and they hit it so hard, so fast that the books get into a position that now the other side becomes a price where you just can't pass up on that. You know, that's the balance of it as well.
Right. All right. So the Olympic hockey tournament started today. As a whole, this is not the World Cup, but it's still a global event. What do you guys see from Olympic markets? Did you have a lot of handle on certain events, or is it just kind of here and there?
It's just kind of here and there, but the hockey is generally where you get most of the action, and that's showing up again. But yeah, it's sporadic on different pieces. I think so far that the results have been okay, holding our own. No massive surprises that have sort of been caught by the bettors. But again, it's, you know, an interesting thing that a lot of people get up in the morning, tickle away, you know, nothing else on during the day, so they play some of these things, and it's very much a homer kind of event. You know, a lot of Americans looking to back Americans, and then you have sort of the other people looking to find this, you know, the weak spots and things like that. But yeah, hockey draws the volume and the interest, and, you know, the other stuff just sort of shows up where it does.
For those of you guys who are Daily Juice listeners, I had missed 8 consecutive bets. I finally got a bet right. 5-0 Canada. Canada won, and they covered the 2.5 on the puck line. So so we're good. I finally won a bet today, so the schneid is over for Canada. So thank you for the Canucks to go ahead and get that W for me today up against the Czech Republic. They shut them out 5-0. We have the Daytona 500 coming up this weekend. It's the biggest NASCAR race of the year. I have long said that this is a mistake. It's in a great window, but having your biggest race be the first race out of the gate, no one knows what to make of it. No one knows how to bet it. Nobody knows what to handicap with it. But we have the duels coming up here tonight for the qualifying and the race coming up on Sunday. Do you guys see much handle for NASCAR and for Daytona?
There's not a lot of handle. I just sort of brought it up to have a look at it. Bit of money on Austin Cindric, Ryan Blaney. But I will say the big one that's jumping out is Ross Chastain. A lot of pro money on this at 35s and 40s. I think they've got it around 20s now. So yeah, if there's any 35s and 40s still out there, looks like a strong play in that. But yeah, NASCAR, I mean, 25 years ago, I was probably one of the biggest NASCAR volume guys out there. I loved it.
Right.
Loved betting it.
You told me that. That's right.
Yeah, loved betting the road tracks. People wouldn't update their prices between qualifying and the race, so you had these free practices that actually mean something in a sport. But yeah, these days it really went away for like a decade, and then post-PASPA they've tried to rejuvenate it and regenerate it. But yeah, we don't see a lot of action on that.
Was it just that the books didn't pay attention, or was it also the public not being involved? Like, do you still see any edges in NASCAR because it's not one of the big four?
So I don't, but I have heard some little different stories about people that have really still got strong edges on the NASCAR. This is kind of one of those ones when people sort of said, you know, they want to do sports betting, they want to get into it. And my immediate one is, if you love UFC, go to UFC because there's big limits. You can hide in the weeds. Nobody sees you coming, that kind of stuff. NASCAR, not so much. They see you coming. I'm sure you get identified pretty quickly. But again, if you have some edges, play it. I've heard that the live in play is really, really weak towards the end of races, with people not understanding pit stops and the way that the flags and all those kind of things work. So there's some sort of spots there. And then if you really love the grind, for me, tennis, live betting tennis, I think the data struggles to read the human body aspect of it, of the body language and how they're going. So, but yeah, NASCAR, I'm sure there's big edges, but just limits and getting down is tough.
Is there a problem with, we're talking about in-game, NASCAR, we're talking about a computer program built for soccer that has been adapted for U.S. sports, to basketball, to hockey, to football. It's racing. Like, is it all done by humans, or is it still done by computers when it comes to the in-game? Because that would be my first thought of like, okay, does the computer, can they speculate? Can it play it out the same way as when it's like 3-2 and 5 minutes to play in the third period and they're not calculating the goalie being pulled? How does that work for in-game? Yeah,
I imagine it's the exact same problem. Is it's purely data driven. Well, ideally you would have some traders on there that can sort of nudge it here and there based on what they're seeing with their eyes. But in today's world, there's a lot of places that just don't invest in their trading team like that, to be able to take that data and really turn it into a product that bookmakers could trust and lean into.
All right. So then on Sunday, we have the NBA All-Star Game, which has changed 15,000 times. So people are betting it. Tip of the cap to you. I don't understand. There's different teams in Team USA and Team World, and they're playing multiple games against each other, and they have some strange endings and how we wind up closing the games out. Do you guys see much NBA All-Star gambling? Do people get involved with it, or do they just kind of stay away from it?
So I think more recent years, unless there's a complete screw up by the bookmakers, I think it was the WNBA, right? A few years ago when the total was 60 points off.
Right. Yeah.
I was looking through it, and I don't even see the game building the system yet. So I don't think there's anyone in a hurry to post a number or anything of that nature. But yeah, it's just so hard as the house, understanding the rules, knowing what it's going to be. I know when they changed it to that, was it they played the game and then added 24 seconds or something some years ago, or just different things like that. It makes it so hard to want to get involved.
Well, they stopped the clock. We're playing to a number now. We're not playing to a minute.
There you go.
We have a target number now as to how we play. So I forget the name of it, but it's not the same as playing to triple zeros and whoever's winning at the end of the clock.
Correct. It is. I think the Canadian League uses that exact same rules in theirs, which we tried doing a model in that and just gave up because it just makes it too difficult. So even on the in-play, you'll have one or two traders that'll say, put up their hand and say, all right, I'll give it a crack and take it small limits and stuff like that. But yeah, there's no way to model it. It's really hard to get too involved.
All right. I'll get you out of here on this. So there's a lot of ridiculous holidays in America, but Valentine's Day is right up there as one of the more ridiculous holidays. Is there an Australian equivalent to Valentine's Day? And as a guy who is as global as you are, do you get to pick and choose which holidays matter? Can you just be like, I'm Australian, I don't believe in Valentine's Day? How does that work for you?
So Australia has Valentine's Day.
Really?
It's a global thing now. Yeah, it's all commercialized all around the world. No, for me, the big holidays is Anzac Day, which is when sort of the Australian and New Zealand Army Corps, I think they went into the war, World War I, that kind of thing. Australia Day, which is becoming very, I don't know what words to use and not desensitize it or whatnot, but it was kind of the white people the white people moving to Australia. So I'm all in support of not necessarily supporting that day. Having a lot of friends in the Aboriginal community and whatnot. But outside of that, generally it's the same stuff. Your traditional ones. Americans just definitely have a more of the President Days and the Memorial, which is like our Anzac Veteran Days kind of things. But you guys have a lot. But oddly enough, you still like Australia way behind some of these other countries that just have way more public holidays. Costa Rica's one, feels like Bulgaria's another. Colombia seems to have a lot. But yeah, I mean, these days they just seem to want to keep adding public holidays.
Yeah, I'm not a huge New Year's fan. I really dislike Valentine's Day, and so I tend to just sort of like, I have to celebrate it. I get it.
So I've been with my wife for 10 years, and it's the Valentine's Day is the 14th, her birthday is the 25th.
Oh,
so
okay.
Literally, it's like I've done one or the other for sort of most years, because ICE was running at one time when Valentine's Day. So as long as I'm there for one of them, I'm usually okay. And I sort of try to target the birthday more times than the Valentine's Day.
Fair.
This year we're doing both, because she's someone that likes to celebrate the whole month as her birthday rather than just the one day.
There we go.
Plus, it's Black History Month, so she's really getting into her groove this month on that as well. So yeah, it's a hectic month, February.
Well, happy birthday month to your wife. Thank you for being here. We'll catch up with you next week and find out where you're going to be. It should be fun to see what happens in the All-Star game and everything else with NASCAR coming up. We'll recap it all next week. Adam, thanks for the time. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Matt. Cheers.
Adam Bjorn joining us here on the Bostonian versus the book. Good to get him on the program from Costa Rica here today on BvB. Let's talk about what happened last night. Couple good things to jump into here before we let go of our friends at Sports Grid. All right, what happened last night, and I made mention of this, we have learned more about Max Crosby and the anger that Max Crosby currently has towards the current regime with the Raiders. Max Crosby could wind up being a Patriot. We talked about this before, which would be highly ironic because the Patriots have no love for the reason why Max is looking to leave. And the reason is he's not happy with Alex Guerrero. This from the article on NBCBoston.com talking about Guerrero was part of the communicating the Raiders' decision and why they chose to shut down Max Crosby in December, which really angered Max Crosby. Albert Breer said, I believe the day was December 23rd when they had some scans done. And the Raiders basically told him after the scans, we're going to shut you down for the season. Max had a strong suspicion that the reason they were doing that was to tank for the number one pick overall, which they got, which worked. But the communication of it got fouled up. A lot of people in the building report to Alex Guerrero now. And Alex is seen as the eyes and ears of Tom Brady internally. So there's some fence mending that would have to happen there for Max to stay with the Raiders. The thing that people forget, and Patriot fans don't, but Alex Guerrero's reputation is awful. And I mean awful. These are just a few of the headlines that have been generated by Alex Guerrero. Tom Brady's personal guru is a glorified snake oil salesman. Alex Guerrero, shady character behind Tom Brady's longevity. Reports say Tom Brady is no longer in business with Alex Guerrero as TB12 Fitness has been losing tons of money. And yet this dude just follows Tom Brady wherever Tom Brady goes. This guy follows. He's been accused of being a fake doctor. He's been accused of selling things like cancer treatments, concussion treatments, that he has the fountain of youth, that he can create a substance, a compound, something that when you give it to an athlete, that athlete can be more successful. That Tom Brady's love of, avocado ice cream and pink Himalayan sea salt, that this is all what kept him in the game for as long as it did. And so Guerrero gets to follow Tom Brady around every step of the way. And Max Crosby isn't having it anymore. He's done with Alex Guerrero. And the fact that Guerrero came to Vegas as quietly as he did and infiltrated the organization without any of us here knowing. Because if you say the word Alex Guerrero, to me, anybody who has any Patriot ties, anybody, and I know people closely, I did a Raiders podcast the entire year, his name was never brought up in the media. Nobody, it didn't set off alarm bells to anybody else. So now, if the Raiders lose Max Crosby because of Alex Guerrero, okay, that's par for the course. Like, that's just straight up par for the course. And people in New England would go, yep, okay. It was the biggest problem with Brady. There wasn't a lot of nastiness around Tom Brady. That guy brought nastiness around Tom Brady. It brought a dark cloud. It brought a lot of questions. It brought government scrutiny. It brought law enforcement scrutiny. That spotlight, because of Alex Guerrero's past and because he has been investigated numerous times for doing things that, just call them shady, okay? Borderline criminal that this guy has done, that reflected really poorly on the Patriots and really poorly on Alex Guerrero. And there's numerous stories. You can go down a deep rabbit hole about that guy being on the team plane and Bill Belichick throwing him off the team plane and that pissing off Brady. And that's what started kind of the fracture between Brady and Belichick's relationship. And then Tom went to Robert Kraft, and Robert Kraft got involved and he stepped in, and that pissed off Bill. So like, Alex Guerrero is kind of like the Yoko Ono of the entire Patriots dynasty. Like, this guy is a problem. And this guy being in Vegas equally is a problem. And if I'm a Raider fan, I'm not down with Alex Guerrero being the eyes and ears for Tom Brady. That this guy's the mole that then's going to go and spy on the whole organization. And I'll tell you this thing, if I'm Clint Kubiak, the first move I make today is kicking out Alex Guerrero. I say goodbye. Now, he doesn't have the balls to do that. He's a 30-something-year-old first-year head coach, and Tom Brady is an owner of the Raiders. So there's no way Kubiak has the stones to do that. But that's what I would do. That's exactly what I would do if I'm Clint Kubiak. I would say, my best defensive player hates your personal chef, guru, whatever the hell he is. So sorry, Tom. I need Max Crosby. I don't need Alex Guerrero. I need Max Crosby. So goodbye. No one's going to do that because nobody ever speaks up to Tom Brady. Nobody ever tells Tom Brady no. And this guy is the ultimate hanger-on. And what connection he has to Brady, I have no idea. Maybe one day we'll find out. You guys in the chat are all speculating. But yeah, he was banned from the facility from the Patriots. Yes, not from the Raiders, but from the Patriots. Yes, he was thrown off the team plane. He was banned from being a part of the team. And again, that's what started all the bad blood between Brady and Belichick. Now, it was probably there beforehand, but it became public after Belichick tossed Alex Guerrero. And so I don't know. I have no idea what Guerrero and Brady, what that relationship is. But if you watch the Tom Brady documentary, that TB12 documentary, go watch how Tom talks about Guerrero. Like, this kid's God to him. Like, he has all the answers. He literally says my playing career he would not be playing in his 40s if it wasn't for meeting Alex Guerrero. What did it do? I have no idea. What did he give him? I have no idea. But Brady really does believe this, that Guerrero is the reason why. One more quick story before we let go of Sports Grid. The Utah Jazz are literally tanking right in front of our eyes, and nobody is going to step in and stop them. They just traded for Jaren Jackson Jr. They just went and picked him up. This Utah Jazz team, a team that last week benched all their starters when they were up by 20 going into the fourth quarter in a game they ultimately lost. Excuse me. They want to lose, and it's not even a quiet secret. It is a loud, open secret that this franchise is trying to lose, and they're now shutting down Jaren Jackson Jr. and saying, he can't play anymore. Done for the year. Done for the year? It's February. Yeah, we don't want him to play. You just acquired him. Why did you trade for him? If you knew he needed season-ending knee surgery, why would you have acquired Jaren Jackson Jr.? If you were trying to win games, why would you do that now? It is them, the Pacers. Like, you can go through certain teams that are simply not trying to win. The Jazz are not trying to win. They want to lose every single game the rest of the way. The Wizards, same deal. We're shutting down Anthony Davis. We just acquired Anthony Davis. We're shutting down Anthony Davis. The NBA has got a really big problem on their hands. People are buying tickets. They're paying, they're watching, they're supporting these franchises, and these teams don't have either players who care or their teams themselves do not want to win. Shutting down Jaren Jackson Jr. is wild to me. I mean, absolutely wild that they just acquired him from Memphis, and now he's done for the year with some knee growth that he has, which would have easily been discovered during the pre-trade medicals going back and forth. You would have easily have seen that Jaren Jackson Jr. needs knee surgery. Oh, no, we're going to take him. Okay, we want him. That's fine. And, oh, yeah, go ahead and shut him down. Surgery, we will see you next fall. What? Unreal. Just disrespectful to the game, to the fans, to the product, all of it. But no one's going to stop him. Adam Silver's not going to stop him, that's for sure. If you are watching on Sports Grid, thank you for being here. We're back tomorrow on a Friday. Our thanks to Adam Bjorn in BetCris, Arizona. We head off to bonus time. If you're watching live, don't move. Yeah, same thing. Wizards just the same thing. Traded for AD, shut him down. I don't know. I don't understand. I like the NBA. I know you got some of you guys don't. I like the NBA. I like betting the NBA. I like watching the NBA. I like supporting the NBA. I like watching my team. I like watching the game. Last night almost broke me with the NBA because I had 3 bets going and all 3 bets were trending in the right direction. I don't know what Philadelphia was doing in the fourth quarter against the Knicks. I don't know what was going on in that Portland, Minnesota game in the fourth quarter. And I don't know what happened to the Warriors. They're up by 12 points. I luckily live bet and got out of the Warrior game. I got out of that bet by taking the Spurs. But I mean, last night was crazy. Like last night was just like, oh my, what is going on? I was on unders in both the games and it just, so I'm happy to hit that bet for the Canadians on the puck line, laying 2.5 goals today. I have Jack Eichel. Well, we can do that right now. We can get into that right now with just the picks. Just the picks being brought to you by our friends at the Prop Bet Cheat Sheet in the Betting Pros, folks. bettingpros.com/props, bettingpros.com/props to go check it out, or download the Betting Pros app to go and check out the Prop Bet Cheat Sheet for tonight. Last games before the NBA All-Star break. Good luck if you're betting the NBA today. No, thank you. I want no part of that after what happened last night. No, we're playing scrubs. We're just playing pickup basketball. Milwaukee plays Oklahoma City tonight. I mean, if OKC wants to win that game by 100, they could. The number is 13.5. But I have no interest in saying that because I have no clue who's playing for OKC. They're not playing SGA. He's not playing in the All-Star game either. I don't know what they're doing with Holmgren if he's going to play, but looks like Jalen Williams is going to be out. There could be a bunch of other players who could be out for OKC. So you're getting kind of the G League version of the Thunder, and you're getting a Bucks team that's 10-18 on the road. They absolutely stink on the road. So I want no part of that. Portland and Utah. We just told you about Utah tanking. The Trailblazers are 8.5-point favorites tonight. You want to lay that? Best of luck. And Dallas is taking on the Lakers tonight in a decent basketball game if you were getting actually good players, but you're not. You're not getting LeBron. You're not getting Luka. You're not getting Cooper Flagg. No one's playing. Like, this is a joke. Like, this Dallas Laker game is a complete clown show. It's an absolute clown show. So if you want to be involved with the NBA tonight betting, tip of a cap. Best of luck to you. I want no part of it. There's no NBA. There is golf, and I did bet. I had to go and knock on the door of my friends who bet golf consistently. I was like, I need a golf play. Can you give me an AT&T Pebble Beach golf play? And I took, I gotta see who. Oh, Brian Harmon to come in the top 20. Brian Harmon is 1 under through 4 today, so I took Brian Harmon top 20. The tournament currently being led by Ryu. Satuni, who I've never heard of before, but Siwoo Kim has been red hot. He is 5 under through 8. He was one of the betting favorites. Rory McIlroy is the defending champ. He's 4 under through 6. He's ripping apart the course. They've got 3 courses on this tournament. If you're on this track, it's not just one course. It's multiple. Or is it 2? Oh, it's 2. It's Pebble Beach and Spyglass. So it's 2. Sorry. So you've got which course is, let's see. I don't know which course that they're on for the Rory's, but Rory's is 4 under through 6. He's doing really well. Nick Taylor was also a pretty popular play. He is 3 under through 6. Let's see who else was big. Chris Gotterup, who played great last week, 3 under through 3. And so he's off to a hell of a start for him. So I will bet more as we go. I will most likely get involved after the first round with either Rory or Siwoo Kim for this, but $20 million purse for the AT&T. But I do have it was 4-1 on Brian Harman on Brian Harman to come in the top 20. So I took that. He's currently tied for 28th with that. I am betting Jack Eichel to score for Team USA today. I think Jack Eichel, who has had some history with Team USA and some frustrations with Team USA, I like Jack Eichel to come out tonight and get a goal against Latvia for the Americans. They're laying 3.5 on the puck line with the total at either 5.5 or 6.5. It was plus money over 5.5. It was laying juice for under 6.5. So the books think it's going to be like a 5-1 final here for this game tonight, but I like Eichel to score here. I know Austin Matthews has been a pretty popular play for that, so you can jump in with that. And yes, the Golden Knights connection is also why, Eric, I'm playing this for the Golden Knights here in Vegas. So I like Eichel to get a goal coming up here for tonight for this game here. So I'm just glad we got something to watch and something to pay attention to, because that's my favorite thing about today. Favorite thing about today for me, I'm just glad that we have USA Hockey to watch coming up here, because this is today and tomorrow. I'm amazed at the sports calendar. Like this is very unique. Like we're kind of used to having this in the summertime. We're kind of used to like looking around going like, all right, what's on right now? Like what's going to move the needle? And Thursdays in college basketball suck. Like there's nothing good college basketball wise. These are all the small conferences. The UNH against NJIT, UMass Lowell against Bryant, Valparaiso against Illinois State, Detroit Mercy against Wright State, St. Francis against Fairleigh Dickinson. This is all America East basketball. I mean, St. Thomas, Minnesota against Omaha. Like there's nobody playing for college basketball. There's nobody of note playing. Tomorrow night, we get some okay games. Michigan State and Wisconsin tomorrow. St. Louis against Loyola Chicago tomorrow. You've got Ohio and Miami of Ohio. So like we have 3 ranked teams are playing tomorrow on Friday, but it's all about Saturday on Valentine's Day. I'll save my Valentine's Day rant for tomorrow. If you guys don't know, tomorrow. And yeah, Sonic, I'm watching it. I should clarify that. It's the betting I'm talking about. I'm not betting on luge. I'm not betting on speed skating. I am betting on hockey, but like that's tough. Like there's just from a betting perspective, like I'm going through the daily juice going like, what the hell am I betting on Thursday and Friday? I know I can bet Saturday and Sunday. That's fine. But I got to watch tonight the Daytona duels. Like I got to watch that, because I do want to bet Daytona. So I want to poke around and hear, right now it looks like, if you heard Adam talk about some Ryan Blaney, about some longer shots that people have taken for the Daytona 500, but it's a plate race. Like plate racing is tough. Like plate racing is, it's always difficult to get heavily invested in plate racing, because one wreck could take out your entire betting card. So I'm always concerned. That's why I really do like the manufacturing, like Ford, Toyota, or Chevy, to get involved with the manufacturing bet. But that doesn't come out until after qualifying. So we have to wait till after tonight for the duels for qualifying. And then Saturday, that bet market will pop. And I'm always invested. I'm always involved with that. But because that gives you every driver for that particular manufacturer. So I love that bet. But I don't know what to bet or when to bet because there's just not a lot going on. So, this is tough. This is tough. You're betting one versus number two. Who's number one, number two? Was it Iowa, Penn State? Who are the top two teams in wrestling, Ish? I don't even know. Is it Omaha? Is it Nebraska? Like, there's only like 4 or 5 different things. Oh, just Seth. Yes. Doing NASCAR fantasy right now. I'm dreading a crash that takes out half the field. Yep. And the broadcast partners love it. Like, love it. They want the big one. Everyone's waiting for the big one. And the big one always hits. At Daytona, it always hits. And it always hits at Talladega. Oh, Penn State, Ohio State. Wow. 1 versus 2. Okay. I figured Penn State would be in there. Yeah, the crash is going to happen. Just a matter of when does the crash happen? You're just counting it down, going like, all right, can you survive? You just hope that your guy is in front, right? Like, let that happen behind my guy. Like, whoever I'm betting, have that wreck happen behind. Like, if I have my guy be leading the race and then, it crashes. There's always the crash on the last 3 or 4 laps when everybody gets all crazy. And I'll talk about it tomorrow, but like for Daytona, it is the greatest nap ever in sports. The best sports nap happens during the Daytona 500 because you're not fully invested in it yet. It's a long race. You can put it on. You just Sunday afternoon, just kind of go ahead and go to sleep. And you wake up and you're like, oh, okay. And the race is, you catch the last like 30 laps. You watch the start and you watch the end. Like, those are the things that you're looking forward to. Those are the things that you would enjoy. I do think most guys appreciate the fact that Daytona is on Sunday, not on Saturday. Okay. Like, they appreciate that because we all have, Valentine's Day things to do on Saturday. So next year, it's not Daytona on Valentine's Day. Next year, it's the Super Bowl on Valentine's Day. I can't wait to watch that. That's going to be the whole week leading up. It's going to be wild. 30 laps still sounds like 29 too many. Well, I tell you what, those last 30 laps can take 5 hours, SoCal. At Daytona and Talladega, they try to do the green-white checker, but that comes into play in the last 2 laps. You can't do the green-white checker if you're crashing in with 15 to go, with 10 to go. They got to clean the track. They got to get the cars back. They got to go ahead and get them up to speed. Then they do a restart, and in the restart, sometimes that restart, there's a wreck, and they got to do the restart again. And then who knows? The lights come on, it gets dark. Like, NASCAR's had a whole history with that. But again, the NASCAR nap is back. That's a huge benefit. Watch the start. Watch like the first 40 laps, go to sleep, wake up, and then there you go. 30 laps, watch the last 30 laps and you enjoyed, and you're like, hey, I watched it, because nobody's going to talk about NASCAR that pit stop on lap 45 was really slow. Like, no one's going to talk about that the next day for NASCAR. Guys, thank you to Adam Bjorn and BetCris Arizona. As always, we're back tomorrow on a Friday. We got a lot to get to on the show heading towards the weekend. NBA basketball that we'll get into, Daytona, the AT&T and more, and Olympic hockey that we'll talk about. Team USA in action against Latvia. Canada already won 5-0. All that come up tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern time for a Friday BvB presented by BetCris Arizona.